Hi, this is Dr. Pete. You caught me noodling on my guitar. The title of this video is going to be How to Motivate an Alcoholic Addict by Enforcing Consequences. Enforcing consequences is a very, very difficult topic. I developed an intervention years ago. It's kind of simple. Number one, when you came home the other night after drinking and drugging and woke the kids up and stumbled down the hall and then threw up in the bathroom, I was very, very hurt. I was very disappointed. I got really angry, and I was afraid for the damage that the kids were going through that was inflicted by you and your drinking problem on the kids. The kids didn't sleep well, and I do know that it's affecting them. They're afraid. They're angry at you. They don't trust you. You've had times when you haven't shown for their events at school, and you showed up once drunk, and I know they're really living in shame because of this. And I can't live like this anymore, so I'm going to ask you, I'm going to insist that you do not come home drunk anymore. That's one example of an intervention. Number one should be, it should be said in a soft voice that implies that you care, or you even say that you care. Number two is, this is what happened that's really shaken me up. And you talk about, with I messages, I feel angry, I feel hurt. Instead of saying, you did this awful thing and you're so terrible, and because an alcoholic usually looks at that and blames you for being upset and you being out of control. The alcoholic's looking for that. He's looking for someone to blame so he can keep drinking. I've had people call me up and say, you didn't call me the other day and I got drunk, and that's why I got drunk. And it's like, what? It doesn't make any sense. It's just the way the alcoholic thinks, though. They got to have someone to blame in a bottle, and they can get drunk. So, you know, it's just the nature of the disease. It's not intentional. It's not. It's a habit that's formed over time based on cravings and a need to drink. It's not personal, even. I mean, that sounds crazy because it's happening to you and it hurts. But they would do that to anyone. Anyone they married, anyone in the family, anyone that gets in the way. They'll do that to anyone. So it really has to be understood under the guise of the disease concept. They're doing that because they have cravings and they can't stop. So the way you look at this is from a new pair of glasses, that the person is out of control, and they're doing these things, and the only thing they're going to listen to is boundary setting, and people saying, you know, you can't come home drunk anymore. Another consequence or boundary can be, I'm not willing to live with you anymore, or we're separating for 2 months, or I'm not willing to cover for you anymore. If the boss calls, wants to know where you are at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm either going to give the phone to you, or I'm going to tell him you're drunk, if you're drunk, and that's why you're not at work. I'm no longer telling him you got the flu. The other consequence is I don't want you around the kids when you're drinking. The other consequence is the next time you drink and drive, I'm calling the police on you. If it's a child, you can always tell the child you've lost the car. That could be a consequence. You don't have to kick the person out. You don't have to get a divorce. There are a series of consequences that you can enact, boundaries you can set to protect yourself and your family before you kick the person out. That's the last stage of it. And what you have to do is brainstorm and get a good handle on what you're willing to do, what you're ready to do, because you're aiding and assisting a suicide is what you're doing. I don't mean to get too graphic about it, but literally that's what's happening. The person is committing slow suicide unless you interrupt it, unless you care enough and are strong enough to interrupt that process. Even though it feels like you're risking the relationship, the person probably will not get sober and clean, and you'll see a series of DUIs or job losses or depression or yelling at the kids, maybe even hitting the kids, or a series of incidents with a bar fight. It could be you could even develop symptoms of schizophrenia, borderline personality, manic depression, because all those symptoms are manifested by drinking or using drugs. So the bottom's going to come. You can interrupt it early on by enforcing consequences, the last stage of that model. And as soon as you get to meetings, Al-Anon meetings, where other people have done that and are in the process of doing it, and you feel like you're in a safe place, you're at home, where you can be with people who are in the same boat, the sooner you can get out of this. Thank you very much for listening.